What's up, everybody? Fuller here. Welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you today. We're going to be talking about MetaSounds. We're going to be talking about a little thing called blueprint interfaces, which is a really powerful tool inside Unreal Engine that can help us scale our project, keep everything really clean, and not couple our logic to our MetaSound, keep them separate. Also, hey, our channel is over 4,000 subscribers, so thank you to each and every one of you who have subscribed to this channel and have been watching these videos and hopefully been using them, and hopefully it's been helping you in your journey as an audio designer. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that now. Hit that bell, hit that like button so you can get notified when these new videos come out. Also, as a celebration of our 4,000 subscribers, I got some theme music in here today that we're going to be having a little fun with because it's full of time. So anyway, without any further ado, let's jump in so you can learn how to use blueprint interfaces to talk to your MetaSounds. Okay, so what are we looking at here? I just built out this little level. It looks a little familiar because it's similar to some of the other stuff we've done. What we're going to do is we're going to add some trigger boxes here that are going to control our MetaSound actor. And we're going to be using some cool things. I'm going to show you how to build a blueprint interface. I'm going to show you how to build a MetaSound actor. I'm going to show you how to build a trigger actor. And I'm also going to show you the power of Enums and what we can do to build Enums. If that sounds complicated, don't worry. I'm going to make it real simple. So hang in there. All right, so step one, we're going to build our MetaSound. This is probably the easiest part, especially if you've been watching my videos. If you haven't been watching my videos, go check out. I got a whole series on MetaSounds 101 to get you up and running. We're going to right-click and create our MetaSound source. We're going to call this music. That's it. Let's double-click our MetaSound real quick. We're going to add our wave player. It's going to be stereo because it's music. We're going to convert our MetaSound to stereo, and we're going to make it boom, boom. We're going to get rid of the unfinished actor, the unfinished interface, because we don't need it. We're going to drag off of here. We're going to create a variable. We are going to make this an array, and we're going to call this song set. Good enough, right? We're going to drag off here. We're going to say get, and we're just going to get a wave asset. And when we get that wave asset, we're going to also play our MetaSound. Now I'm going to populate this with 4 songs. These are my official Fuller Time theme songs in the style of yodeling, yacht rock, 80s rock, and trap. Why not, right? Life is short. So these theme songs were not written by me. I actually used AI to generate these because I was messing around and I'm like, you know what, AI, what's it good for? It's good for writing theme songs for my website that takes me 3 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be fun. We're going to, let's see here. We got our trap version. Bro, this is going to be tight right here. All right, we got our 80s. We got our yacht rock, yodel. Now these are all fresh off the press. Let's give it a little listen. All right, yeah. How about a little yacht rock? Come on now, you know it. You can take this opportunity right now to hit that like and subscribe button. Got a little yodelating, little trap. Okay, cool. We'll save that for later. All right, so now. It's not an input. Oh my gosh. All right, and so now what we want to do is we want to drag off here and drag an input, and we want to call this track selection. All right, so now we got an input, track selection, perfect. So now we got to play. We're going to play one of these arrays. The array we're going to play is going to be based off of this integer coming in and feeding it. Let's close out this MetaSound. So step 1 is done. We just created our MetaSound. Now what we want to do is we want to create an enum, okay, which is short for enumerator. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we make an enum? We're going to right click here. We're going to go to blueprint. And then right here where it says enumeration. An enumeration is a list of named values. All right, we're just going to call that E underscore, and we're going to call that, we're going to call that music functions. And what is an enum? An enum is basically just a list of things, okay? So we're going to add them right here. We're just going to add 4. We're gonna call this one play. We're gonna call this one stop, and we're gonna call this one track select. Actually, we only need 3. We don't even need 4, so let's delete this one. So basically what we just did is we just made a list of 3 things, right? That's all it is. It's just a list of 3 things. So let's close that out, and you're going to see why that's cool in a minute. All right, so we got a list of 3 things, and these are our functions we want to do. If we wanted to add more functions, we could reference them here. We could add pitch up, pitch down, reverse, whatever you wanted to do. Change the volume. You can name any unlimited. All right. So now we got our enum done with our 3 functions that we're going to do. We're going to do a play, we're going to do a stop, and we're going to select one of these 4 genres of our awesome new theme song. So now what I want to do is I want to create the blueprint interface. And let's do that by right-clicking here. We're going to go under blueprint, and we're just going to click blueprint interface, okay? And we're just going to call this BPI music interface, okay? Now, let's open this by double-clicking, and what are we going to do here? Okay, and I'm going to explain this in a minute, but the first thing we want to do is, we got one function here already. Let's just retitle this play. Oops, I don't know why cap locks, man. I'm going to remove this thing. I hate it. Play. Let's make another function called stop, and let's make one more function called change track. And then on this one, we're going to actually add an input of an integer type. And we're going to call this track number. That's it. And we're going to hit save. Now, that's all we did. Very simple. But where the power is so this blueprint interface lives in your project, and you can access these functions from any other actor. Now, currently, nothing is implementing that interface. But if we have another actor, which we'll make in a second, that implements that interface, anytime we call that function from any actor, it's going to perform that function on that other actor. So think of it as kind of like a messenger between 2 actors. And that's part of the challenge is in Unreal, is just getting all your things to communicate to your other things. So what the blueprint interface does is it allows us to, any actor we add that blueprint to, that blueprint interface, we can then define those functions in that specific actor. Sounds a little confusing, but let me show you what I mean so it'll make more sense. So first thing I want to do is I want to make my music actor, okay? So I'm not just going to drag the MetaSound in there. I'm going to make an actor that has the MetaSound on it that implements that interface so we can create functions for that interface. So I'm going to right-click Blueprint Class Actor, and let's just call this BP MetaSound. So this is not a MetaSound, and I already have an, I messed up here. BP MetaSound. Okay. There we go. So this is not a MetaSound. This is an actor, blueprint actor called MetaSound. So let's double click on this. Let's dock this up here. All right. So we have our blank actor. Now what we want to do, first thing I want to do is I want to create a cube just for artistic, so we can see where our actor is. Let's zoom this out here. And I am actually going to materialize this with, what is my material called? I just screenshot, because that's all it is. I just took a screenshot. So let's come down here, and I'm just going to change this to screenshot material. All right, so that's my cool little red cube. Now let me save this off and compile this. So now I have my BP MetaSound actor, and I'm just going to drag this right over here. Okay, let me get rid of this one, because we're going to replace that one. All right, so here's my actor. But that's just so I can see where it is in the world. Okay. Let me change this back to radio, because that's what we're doing. We want it to look like a radio. There it is, because this is where our sound's going to be coming from. We're going to use the other material for our trigger box. All right, so now we've got our radio. Let's just resize this a little bit here. Doesn't really matter, but just for looks, let's go here. Okay, so this is where our sound essentially is going to be coming from. This is the actor we're going to be communicating to, okay? So our music is going to live on this actor, and we're going to communicate to it from other actors via a blueprint interface. So now let's put our audio on it. Let's add an audio component here, And we're going to call this music. Doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it whatever you want. And then we're going to come over here in the details panel, and we're going to click MS. What did I call that? What did I call my music? I called it MS Music. Okay, so let's just click on that and then hit this arrow. Boom. All right, so this is our MS Music. Let's compile this. Now we can play it. All right, cool. So that is working. That is defaulting to that MetaSound. Now, I do not want it to auto-activate, so we're going to turn that off for now. So just make sure when I hit play, it does not play. Okay, cool. So now we have our Blueprint actor, and it has a MetaSound attached to it. But what we don't have is the Blueprint interface yet. How do we do that? Okay, let's go back to our actor, BP MetaSound, and now we're going to go over to the class settings, and we're going to come over here under interfaces, and where it says implemented interfaces. Now, we're just going to type our name, and our interface is going to appear. So this is the interface that we just created. Now it's available to us to attach to this actor. Now check this out. I'm going to compile and save it, and look, over here, under interfaces, bam, notice those three functions are now available to us. So anytime any actor calls those functions, these functions are going to happen. Now, we don't have them hooked up yet. Let's do that. Let's go over to our event graph. We don't need a begin play or begin overlap or tick. All right. Now, if I double click this, play, it's going to create an event for me on my actor. So I'm going to just double click all these. And so now we have all three events ready to go. Now listen, these events can do different things for different actors. So I could call this on another actor, except when it hits play, it does something else. But for this one, what we're going to do, when we call this function on the interface, which now keep in mind there's another half to this. We still have to make an actor to call the function, but we haven't done that yet. Right now we're just setting up the reception, the actor that's receiving the function. So we're going to come over here. We're going to drag our music here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to ask, is it playing? Because if it's already playing, we don't want to play it again. And if it is not playing, we are going to play it. So if it is not playing, we're going to play it. If it is playing, we're not going to do anything. Let's clean this up a little bit. All right, there we go. So here is our play function. Now, play. Oop, let's just, oh my gosh, caps lock, I hate it. I'm going to remove this key. Play on BPI. Okay. Blueprint interface. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. All right. Then we're also going to do a stop, and we're going to do a fade. Let's just do a fade out. When stop is functioned, we're going to fade it out over the course of 2 seconds. That's it. And we could check and see if it's playing, but it doesn't really matter, because if it stops it and it's not playing, it just won't do anything. I don't think it'll throw an error. You could throw this is playing logic in there as well. All right, so event change track. What do we want to do here? Now, when we change the track, what we want to do is we want to play the MetaSound. Oh, actually, what we want to do is we want to set the input. Set integer parameter in the input that we just copied over. All right, boom. All right, there it is. Track selection. So when this gets triggered, when this gets fired, called, whatever you want to call it, we're going to change the track, and then we're going to play it again. Now, if it's not playing, it's going to play it. If it is playing, it's going to restart it with the new track, which is exactly what we want. All right, so that's what these functions are going to do. Let me just comment this off. Change track. Perfect. Okay, so we got our play, we got our stop, and we got our change track. And remember, we need to tell it what track to change, but we're going to do in the other actor. Okay, so now our MetaSound actor is completely done. Just sitting over there waiting for us to tell it what to do. So now what we want to do, the final piece of this, is we want to create an actor that is a trigger box that we can communicate to that blueprint interface so that it fires the functions on our other actor that we just made. So how am I going to do that? Okay, so we're going to right click, similar way we made the music. We're going to click on actor, except this one we're going to call BP, let's call this BP cube, okay? Let's call it BP music trigger. There we go, music trigger. And what we're going to do here, we're going to double click this. Now, pay attention here. This could get a little confusing, but we're going to add a cube just so we can have a visual representation of where it is. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see it. There's our cube, and we're going to skin it with this material. There we go. So now we have our cube. So if I throw this in here, there it is. All right, perfect. Now we're clicking with Crisco. Let me bring this down a little bit. So this is going to act as our play button. And let's just drop this down a little bit, and so our guy can walk on it. Okay? We're going to have one here, and we're going to put some other ones here. But first, let's finish building it. All right, so we got our music trigger. Now we want to add a collision box, which is going to go here. And let's make this bigger. Wide enough to hit it when we walk on it, but not too wide that it overlaps the other ones. All right, and let's make this super tall. There we go. And I don't want this hidden in the game, so let's unhide it so we can see it. There we go. Let's look back and make sure it's there. There it is. So there's our trigger box right there. All right, now what we're going to do is a couple things. One, we're going to make our trigger box communicate to the blueprint interface. And how do we do that? This is actually the easy part. So we're going to click on our box here, and our trigger collision box, we're going to come down here and we're going to do an on component begin overlap. Okay? And what this is going to do is when our player walks on it, it's going to do something. Let's just leave it at hello and see if it works. So check out the top left of your screen. Hello. Boom. All right, so we know the trigger works. You can also do a breakpoint here if you want to. A breakpoint is, let me stop this. Breakpoint, basically, I can just right click here, toggle breakpoint, and hit play. And now when I walk on it, it stops my blueprint and tells me where it is. Okay, so that's just a common way of debugging complex things if you want to. Okay, so we know our trigger box works. So now what we want to do is when we step off of this trigger box, we want to do something. What do we want to do? Well, we want to communicate to the blueprint interface. But I don't want to do just one thing. I want to do a couple different things depending on which ones I walk on. Like this one I want it to play, this one I want it to stop, this one I want it to choose songs. Now, if you remember, we made that enum. You're probably thinking, what are we going to do with that enum? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a variable into our music trigger actor, and the type is going to be the enum that we created. So when we type e_music, we see our music function. So this is that list of things we created at the beginning of this video. And so when I compile this, and and let's call this music control. Now if I drag this over here and I get it and I compile it, I can see that I can actually choose play, stop, or track select. Now if you remember, this is the enum we created called music functions. So that's what we're able to do now. So now that because it's an enum, we have these different states that we can choose. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to leave this as an instance editable variable. What does that mean? Well, that means that now when I go back to my world and I click on this actor, I can choose from it which one I want this one to do. And if I put this actor over, if I duplicate this and make another one, this is now a child. It's inheriting all of these things. It's an instance. Sorry, it's not a child. This is an instance of the blueprint. So now I can make this one stop. I can make this one play, and I can make this one stop. So when I overlap, it's going to do what I want it to do. Now, what do I want it to do? Well, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to type the word switch. And what we can do is we can get this switch trigger, which is really cool. So now what this is going to do is this is going to say, hey, when I walk over that trigger box, whatever value is set to, which we set to right here, whatever I walk over, when I do it, do one of these things. So if I have stop selected, it's going to do this thing. If I have play selected, it's going to do this. So right now, let's look. So over here on play, I have play selected. So if someone walks over that box, it's going to do this thing. And what is this thing? Well, here is where the blueprint interface comes into play. So I can come over here and I can drag out and I can, what do we call that? We called it change track, I think. Let's look at our blueprint interface. Actually, you know what? Let's rename these functions. We're going to play underscore BPI, stop underscore BPI, and change track underscore BPI. That way we'll know their blueprint interface functions. So we're going to come over here and we're just going to type BPI. And now we have those three functions. So now all we got to do is implement, call that function on that interface. And how do we do that? Okay, so we're going to come out here. We are going to, when our actor, when play is selected, we're going to get all actors with interface. Which interface? Our BPI music interface that we made. And then for every actor that has that, we're going to do this thing. And what thing is it? We are going to play. If we just right click here and type BPI, we'll see our three functions that we made. Play, stop, change track. So we're going to play on that actor. And then we're going to do this for each of these functions. So if we stop, if stop is selected, we're going to BPI stop. So all we're doing here is we're now triggering that BPI function on that actor, which in our case is the BP MetaSound. And then let's do one more for the track select. We are going to BPI. Because we added BPI, we now can just filter all these functions, change track. And remember, this one has a value here, and we have a variable here that we're gonna make a variable here. We're gonna drag off, promote to variable, track number, and we're gonna make that instance editable, which is great. And now you see, if we go back to our world, when we click on this box, we now have a number that we can input. So for this one, yodeling is 0, yacht rock is 1, 80s rock is 2, and trap is 3. That's the array that it's going to play. That should be it. Let me just double check everything. Yeah, everything looks good. All right, fingers crossed. Let's test it out and see if our blueprint interface works. All right. Let's see if it'll stop it. Perfect. We got a fade out and a stop, and let's just do a debug here to see, double check here. We got, okay, and it's not going to play it again because it's already playing. And we stop, it's fading out, and there it's gone. Perfect. Now let's see if our track changes work. Yeah. Yeah. It's full of time. Yeah. It's full of time. Yeah. Whoa. Hey, yeah. You keep watching all my videos, no cap, yo. All up in the knowledge, bro. You don't pay a dime, but they always be on time, yo. You know they bustin'. It's time to subscribe. Better hit that bell, and like there's no better time. What's the time? It's full of and we fade it out. And let's hit it back to 80s rock. All right. Yeah. That's nice. And there you have it. We have created blueprint interfaces, and we are now communicating between two actors via blueprint interface. So this is just the beginning. So now you know how to use these, so you can expand on this. You could use this to drive your music systems if you wanted to. You could use it to change different things on different actors at the same time, right? You could have a key change that happens on all of them all at the same time, or whatever you want to do. So there's sky's the limit on what you can do. So anyways, that's it for this video. I hope that this was really helpful. Again, thanks so much for checking it out. Please spread the word, like and subscribe. Got a lot of new videos on the horizon, and thanks again for being a part of our 4,000 subscribers. It's really cool to see the community growing, and we'll see you in the next video.